Right, this is how to do the circles, the circle review portion. So write the equation of the circle graph below. Now remember, with circles, you always have the standard form is always like x minus a number squared and then y minus something here squared equal to, remember it's r squared. So this h and k, these are the centers, right? This has to do with the x value of the center, the y value of the center. This has to do with the radius, right? So really we just need to figure out center and radius. Here the center is 1, -3. So that means we need to do x minus 1 quantity squared plus y plus 3 quantity squared, because it's really minus whatever that value is, so it's the opposite. So remember, take the opposite here, the opposite there. And then equal to, and now I just need to know what the radius is and we can square it. So if you go from the center to the outer edge, that's 4 spaces, because here this is 1, x value 1, and this is x value 5. So that means I've gone 4 spaces. So the radius is 4, which means the radius squared is 16. So this is really just a simple, like, how do you know how these two things relate and plug them in? X value of the center, y value of the center, right? Opposite, opposite, and then radius squared right here. So we can use that information to go backwards with number 2. Number 2, we know that the center has to be, the x value of the center has to be the opposite of this. The y value of the center has to be the opposite of this. So the center is going to be at -2, 5. And the radius, if this is the radius squared, then the radius has to be the square root of that. So the square root of 9 is 3. So we're just going backwards here with the information. And now we can make a graph. So I'm going to just let every space be 1 value. So if I go left 2 and up 5, then I'm at a center of -2, 5. Now just remember, the center is not on the circle itself, but the center helps you decide where the outer edge of the circle is. So if my radius is 3, I should go over 3 from this, go down 3 from the center, go over 3 from the center, go up 3 from the center. And if I draw all 4 of those points, it helps me kind of see the outer edges of the circle. So I can draw a pretty accurate circle. Again, you need to find the center, the radius, and then use that center to move out from the radius so that you can get a pretty accurate circle. The last one is, it's fine. Notice up here, I wrote this in standard form. This was in standard form. Easy to graph when that's the case. But you don't have to, equations don't always come the way we want them to. This is equation in general form. So we want to, if we want to be able to graph it, we need to put it in standard form. So that involves rearranging and completing the square, right? So because we want things to look nice and neat like this x plus 2 squared. So we need to use our completing the square tactics. So here we've got x squared minus 10x. So I'm putting the x's together, plus y squared plus 2y, putting the y's together. And then I think I'll take this to the other side right now. So subtract 11, because we don't need any of the plain old constant numbers on that side. So now I want to look at this. I want to try to figure out how to complete that square, how to get this into a square shape, right? So if you remember, we could do x squared, and then we've got negative 10x, so this negative, 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 negative. So I need to put 5 negative x's on that side and 5 on this side. And that means I'm missing 25 squares, right? I'm missing 25 little squares. So I have an x minus 5 and an x minus 5 box. So I have an x minus 5 squared box, but it's missing 25 squares. So I can rewrite this as that. And now I want to do the same here. Now, if you like the box method, that's fine if you like using the algebra tiles. But remember, there's also a process where you can just remember the algorithm. If you divide this by 2, that's going to be what's in here. And then if you square this, that's what's going to be out here. So I'm going to just use that method. I've got a plus here, and then a y, divide this by 2 plus 1 squared, and then square this, that's what's going to be on the outside, plus 1. So that's a faster process, but sometimes it's hard to remember why it works. This is why it works. So if you prefer to do this with that, feel free to use that. It's still equal to negative 11. So we rewrote this like that. We rewrote this like that. And now we have these squares. The only thing we need is we need to get all the numbers to this side. So I'm going to add 25 to both sides. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. And that leaves me with x minus 5 squared over here, plus y plus 1 squared over here. And then here, if I take 11 away from 25, that leaves me with 14, and I take another 1 away, that leaves me with 13. So x minus 5 squared plus y plus 1 squared equals 13, and that is my standard form.